Go fruit yourself.
Hey Fruit Bats, it's Really the Banana Girl here. Welcome to another episode. Today I want to talk about a young girl who actually passed away recently. She was a YouTube celebrity. Her name was Talia Joy. And I only came across her from actually surfing around YouTube and having one of her videos come up as a suggested video. And it was about her passing away and her journey. And I decided to look more into it, and I watched a few more of her videos. And I was impressed with her fighting spirit, and really sad and mad that she actually is no longer with us. And for the reason being chemotherapy. So many people are being taken out by chemotherapy way before their time, and she is one of them. She was 13 years old, and here is a little bit about her story.
10-year-old Talia Castellano is a bundle of energy.
Loves to dance, she loves art, she loves her friends.
But about 2.5 years ago, a persistent fever stopped her in her tracks. Her mother instinctively knew that it was more than just a bad case of the flu.
We took an x-ray, and there it was. My tumor was right here in my abdomen.
Doctors immediately admitted Talia to the hospital and began treatment.
So then we do about 5 rounds of chemotherapy. Then she had surgery. Then we did another round of chemotherapy. Then we went for a stem cell transplant. Then she had radiation.
So I really feel very sorry for her mother in this situation, because her mum didn't know any better. She didn't know to change her diet, because the doctors, the medical industry, they're not going to tell you to change your diet, because when you have cancer, your sickness is their profit. Okay, it's like an investment for them. So the last thing they're going to say is, oh, try a raw food diet, try a raw vegan diet. No way. So here's another guy's experience who he actually overcame his stage 3 colon cancer on a raw vegan diet. Check it out.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2003. I was 26 years old. There aren't a whole lot of 26-year-olds that get colon cancer. It's kind of an old person disease, but I had it. I had surgery about 2 weeks after the diagnosis. They took out 1/3 of my colon. They took out a golf ball-sized tumor. When I was in the hospital, the day I was checking out, I asked the surgeon, is there any food I need to eat or avoid? Or he said, nah, just don't lift anything heavier than a beer. First meal they served me in the hospital after my surgery was a sloppy Joe.
Okay, so that's a pretty amazing story from Chris. And there is story after story of people overcoming cancer on a raw vegan diet.
I was diagnosed with malignant melanoma. At that point, he gave me 3 to 6 months to live. 10 months on the diet, I had my first scan, and I was clear, and I've been clear since.
My oncologist told me that if I didn't do any kind of cancer treatments, she would not put me on disability. So I was not put on disability. And within 6 days, after being in bed for 9 months, after 6 days I was able to get up, and I took my first shower.
My doctor told me I would die in 6 months to a year at the maximum. The lump that was in my breast was about the size of $0.50. In 1 month, it was about the size of a dime. That's how dramatically it shrunk.
I asked him what other alternative therapies were available, and he said none. There are none. If you don't do chemotherapy, you're insane. I asked him about the raw foods diet because I'd been reading up on it. He said, that'll fight the chemo. You can't do that. I knew I was onto something when he said that. I asked him, no, he also said to me, look, I'm not telling you this because I need your business. Why would you say that? That was the furthest thing from my mind. But then when he said it, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, this is a business, isn't it?
Over the years, I've come to learn that when something doesn't make sense, if you follow the money, you'll usually find the answer. That's when I learned about the business of cancer. As you will soon discover, the search for a cure is hardly the altruistic endeavor you've been led to believe. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Even worse, when you look at the hard numbers, our current cancer treatments are appallingly ineffective. But when it comes to taking money from people by making false claims, no one does it better than conventional mainstream medicine. A cure is just around the corner has been the standard public relations pitch used to pump money into the cancer industry. The medical profession generally considers any drug with less than 30% effectiveness to be no better than a placebo. What you see from studies conducted over the last 50 years is that for our major cancers, the effectiveness of conventional treatments is far less than a sugar pill.
Went 100% raw vegan, drank 8 glasses of vegetable juice every day. That's 64 ounces a day. Did that for well over a year. Worked with a local naturopath in Memphis named John Smothers. And it's been 8 years. All my tests are clean.
The first thing people have to realize, and I deal with a lot of cancer patients, is this is a slow-growing disease. And they've got time to think about this.
In many cases, doctors will try to rush a person to make a decision right then, and they scare them by saying, we have no time to wait.
That I needed to immediately do chemotherapy, radiation, and then a bone marrow transplant. And that they were also going to do a double mastectomy just in case I ended up with breast cancer.
And that's actually what they did with Harley Duran Ryder's dad as well. He had a fall off his bicycle and went into the doctors for like a routine checkup to see how he is, and they discovered cancer. Okay, so this is cancer that was probably with him for about 20 or 30 years. But the oncologist is like, well, you know, you've got to get this checked out straight away. We've got to get you into chemo. We've got to, you know, this could end your life within the next couple of months if we don't work on it now. So Harley's dad ended up getting chemotherapy, and within how long, Harley?
6 weeks.
Within 6 weeks, he was dead. And he was 80? Wow.
Yeah.
He was in his 80s. So he most likely had this cancer for most of his life. And the doctors killed him. The oncologist essentially killed him.
Now, here's why I didn't do chemotherapy. There's 3 reasons. One, it is a toxic chemical drug, okay? It is poison, right? It kills any rapidly reproducing cell in your body. That's what it does, okay? So that's fine. It's a poison. Number 2 is it causes secondary cancers, right? There's no doctor that will deny or argue with the fact that chemotherapy is also carcinogenic, right? That's why when they administer it, they have to wear 2 sets of gloves. And if it spills on the floor, there's this very specific procedure to clean it up. They cannot get it on their skin. The nurses will not, they have to protect their skin from the drug they're putting in your veins, right? So even before I knew a whole lot about chemotherapy, I didn't have a real good feeling about it because just the whole idea of poisoning your way back to health didn't really sit right with me, okay? But what do I know? I'm just, just an average guy, and for me, what I was doing really had to make sense, and I had to believe in it. If I really believed in chemotherapy, maybe it would have worked. I don't know. But the third thing about chemotherapy that is really, really probably the main reason I didn't do it is it destroys your immune system. When it's killing rapidly reproducing cells, one of the main parts of your anatomy that it destroys are your white blood cells. And even if you have cancer, your body is fighting it. Your body is containing it, right? You're not well, you're sick, but your immune system is the reason it's not all over your body. Okay? If you have a tumor, the reason it's contained and it's not in your brain and in your lungs and your liver, your body is fighting it, trying to control it. Okay? You may have a suppressed immune system. Your body could be overloaded with toxins or both. But what chemotherapy does is it destroys that immune system. And so I bet everyone in this room has probably heard this story from somebody with cancer. They got cancer, they went through surgery, they had chemotherapy, A few months go by, big announcement, there's no evidence of cancer, it's gone. Everybody's so excited, right? And then a few months later to a year later, it's back. But this time, it's all over their body. It's just like taken over. And that's why. It's because their immune system is gone. And it causes secondary cancer. So you've got this double whammy effect with chemo.
So that's what we're dealing with, folks. Don't dismiss alternative therapy. Don't dismiss a raw food diet, the power of a raw vegan and a vegan diet, because that is what heals your body. Chemotherapy, poisoning your cells, does not heal your body. How can you get well? By taking poison, by injecting poison into your veins.
All it does is poison, poison. You cannot heal with poison.
It's about time the truth came out. I'm so angry people have to die from all this rubbish, from this propaganda that we keep being fed day after day. And if you ever speak out against the white coats, you're like some conspiracy theorist, some nutcase, some loony vegetarian. And that's just absolute rubbish. So please start thinking for yourself. Alright, so I hope that helped. I will be with you again on Monday, and have a great weekend. I'm going to actually be traveling to Thailand and to New York City. Thailand next week, and then New York in a few weeks. So I'm not sure how the video is going to go, but I'll structure them somehow. But make sure you stay tuned. Alright, don't forget to go fruit or root yourself. See you soon.
Banana Girl. Go fruit yourself.